Hello everybody and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be checking out Ishiyama The Immovable, who is going to be the new Fusion champion coming up in May, right? So very soon, I think it's going to be the 5th of May, he's going to be coming live to the game, and he's going to be a Shard Fusion kind of champion, so he's going to be relatively easier to get than other Fusion champions, and for a limited time he's going to be right there along with us, right? So first of all, let's just go ahead and check out his kit and see what we think about him, right? So he's going to be, of course, a legendary, and he's an HP champion, right? He looks a little bit cool. I mean, he's all right. He is going to be of the ninja shadowy faction. I totally forgot the name of it. So let's just go ahead and read through his kit, and I'll give you my 2 cents about what he is about. So first of all, his A1 is going to be Burning Comet. Attack one enemy 2 times. Each hit transfers a random debuff from this champion to the target. Okay, 100% chance of that happening. If this champion is under any debuffs when attacked, counterattacks with this skill. So he's basically going to be getting rid of his own debuffs and always just getting rid of them and like putting them onto the enemy, right? So anytime you get some debuff onto him, you're actually gonna be paying for it, right? That's kind of why he's an HP champion. He's supposed to be tanky, but the real deal is he going to be able to get aggro to him, right? So let's see through his next attack. Calculated Volley is gonna be his A2. It's on a 4-turn cooldown, attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing a fear debuff. Okay, so that's pretty decent. A 25% chance, or rather a 25% decrease crit damage debuff. So is that going to be the same chance of applying this debuff? I'm assuming yes. So you might be able to apply all these 3 debuffs. It's going to be 25% decreased crit damage. That's going to be the debuff. And then so it's going to be a decreased crit rate of 30% and a decreased crit damage of 25%. That fear can, of course, make enemies miss a turn. So it's pretty decent for stuff like PvP. And then debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. So all these 3 debuffs are going to be lasting for 2 turns. That's actually pretty powerful on the fear in particular on all the enemies. And then these debuffs cannot be resisted by enemies who are already under 2 or more debuffs. So the idea is that he's going to be getting rid of the debuffs, putting them onto the enemy, and then he's going to be having a big chance of just putting them on them, right? So 75% chance, and then that is going to go through the resists if they already have quite some debuffs, right? So freeze! Click the link in the description right now and get a free legendary Karato as well as 2 free epics as you level up. So here's what you need to do. First of all, log out of Plarium Play on PC and uninstall. Then click the link in the description of this video and register a brand new email. Launch raid and complete the tutorial, and then go to your inbox and claim your first champ. You'll find Karato here as well as Tagoar and Uugo as you progress through the game. This is an amazing account starting rate, so click the link right now and follow the steps. And if you are a Legend of Mushroom player, I also got a special link down there in the description. Don't miss out on this offer, go ahead and check it out now. Right off the bat, the fear on him is going to be making him probably quite powerful. This attack is going to be quite valuable straight up just because of that. Everything else, it's alright, decreasing the crit damage and crit rate. It's going to be alright. It seems like this whole champion is screaming PvP to me right now. I'm not sure in what other scenarios you would really value this crit damage decrease crit damage and decreased crit rate. Mostly I'm just thinking arena. Now leveling up this ability is going to have an extra chance of these debuffs being applied, so it's going to be going to 100% chance of actually applying everything, so it's not bad whatsoever, and it's going to be going down to a 3-turn cooldown, right? So you will always be placing that fear and always be placing these other 2 debuffs. Now the resistance part of things, of course, that's really screaming PvP, where enemies will have a lot of resistance so they can avoid getting debuffs on them, right? Now the resistance does apply on his A1, so you're not always going to be guaranteed to get rid of the debuffs and putting them onto the enemy. You will get rid of your own debuffs, but the enemy might not actually get them applied onto them, right? Even when you are counterattacking, they might actually still resist them, right? So accuracy is going to be pretty important on him. Straight up, he's placing a lot of debuffs and of course reapplying the debuffs that he has onto the enemy. So let's move on. A3 is going to be finish them on a 4-turn cooldown. Attacks one enemy, will ignore 25% of the target's defense, will ignore 50% of the defense instead if the target is under 2 or more debuffs. So once again, we got a bit of a theme here where you want to be having a lot of debuffs running, and then once it happens, you will get something else happening, right? So just a little bit of target's defense ignore over there, 50% is actually quite a decent chunk, means that you want to be kind of using this ability as an attack ability, right? It's gonna be, you're supposed to be having this as a big heavy hitter, but what else is it gonna be doing through it? Places a block damage debuff from this champion for 2 turns, actually a buff, of course, if this attack kills the enemy. I mean, he's gonna be scaling up the damage and the cooldown reduction on him when you level up the ability, so it's gonna be a 3-turn cooldown, but is he really gonna be an attack champion, right? What's the chance that you actually get the block damage going on of him? I don't think it's going to be that great. It's mostly gonna be down to RNG, since he's kind of just, by the looks of it, supposed to be a tank, but has no provoke. And then we'll keep on reading, maybe that changes, but so far he just kind of seems like he's just going to be applying debuffs randomly, which, yeah, besides that, he's just going to be kind of like a standing still over there kind of champion. If he had a provoke, he would definitely be a lot better off, and since he's not really going to be scaling up his damage, he's not really going to be getting this block damage going off of too much, I'm assuming, but the ignore defense is pretty substantial. That's 50% ignore defense, so you might want to be like scaling up this whole thing. I don't know, just getting the block damage off doesn't really seem that valuable to me anyways. I don't think you would want him on a Savage set just for the sake of getting through more defense, so he actually does some damage. I don't think he has much damage on his kit anyways. Then finally he has a passive, which is the Immovable. That's what kind of gives him the idea of his name, right? So let's see if this is actually good. Whenever an enemy resists a debuff placed by this champion, so that's going to be happening a lot with his A1, the next debuff placed by this champion cannot be resisted. Okay. Alright, so that's kind of the idea. At least you will guarantee to get some of the debuffs off of you and onto the enemy. Each debuff placed by this champion increases their max HP by 3%, stacks up to 30%, right? So he's just going to be beefy. He also brings an aura, which is just going to be increasing ally HP in all battles by 28%, not too bad. But all in all, is he really going to be able to be useful anywhere, right? So he just seems like he applies the fear debuff, which might be very useful in a lot of scenarios. Just missing a lot of turns onto the enemies could be great, because it's an AoE application with a 100% rate of appliance, right? On a 3-turn cooldown, it's not too terrible, and that's going to be also running for 2 turns, but everything else about this A2 kind of like doesn't really seem very useful to me in many scenarios. Definitely not bossing. It just screams to me arena, and again, he's kind of just like gonna get rid of his own debuffs and applying them to the enemy. I think there's better, like more important things in arena than just getting rid of debuffs. I mean, you could like, he doesn't have a debuff protection mechanic to him, right? So if he gets stunned, he's still just going to be sitting through the stun, right? If he gets feared, he's still going to be like losing a turn. So the whole idea of him just transferring his own debuffs really doesn't seem to me like he's going to be adding too much synergy to the whole team. I think like his A2 is kind of just making the whole kit for him, right? Everything else is just a little bit mismatched. I think he needs a provoke somewhere so he could actually be useful, right? If he actually got to be attacked, and he got all those debuffs on him, and he could actually start like getting rid of them and putting them onto the enemies. Even if he gets stunned, he is going to be provoking, right? If he actually landed a provoke, which is not going to be happening with his kit as it is, right? So in the case that he doesn't have any provoke, he's just going to be supposed to be a sort of like a beefy champion who's going to be hard to kill, and adding a little bit of disruption to the whole team with that fear, and then it's going to be pretty valuable in arena if you are actually able to just like allow the whole team. Is like a bit of an increased defense sort of idea, right? You're decreasing the enemy's critical damage and critical rate, so it's not a terrible set of debuffs that you have over here. It's also adding to the debuff counter onto the enemies, which could be quite useful for other synergies, but he kind of just seems like a bit of a standalone I am a rock kind of champion, which also doesn't really have much defense. He's just supposed to be scaling up HP, right? The whole idea of him ignoring defense could basically make him maybe like a one-target nuker sort of champion, but it's on a pretty decent high cooldown, and the block damage thing, I mean, yeah, you could have him be like a sturdy kind of guy who's gonna be one of your last standing champions and just like get hit, and he's going to be reapplying the debuffs onto the enemy. So as he's standing there getting that block debuff, as he's like one-shotting enemies, I don't know, maybe he just kind of seems like an arena champion to me, which is probably not going to be too high up there. I don't know if he's going to be very useful in Platinum, but on the way there, I think he's going to be just fine. I don't know, all in all, I don't really see him too useful in many PvE scenarios overall. I don't see him being a big bossing champion, although the control again from the fear debuff can actually give him some usefulness. So one thing that I've noticed is that your accuracy requirements are going to be lowered a little bit by the fact that you have this passive where the next debuff is going to be not resistible, right? So accuracy, of course, being pretty important in PvP if you want to get through the resists, might be a little bit of a thing that you kind of forget a little bit about if you are going to be relying on the passive, but otherwise you would still want the accuracy just if you want to maximize the amount of debuffs you are transferring. But everything else that I said about him kind of stands. You would just want him to get a pretty high on the HP percentage, HP, as well as just critting. Mostly you just want him to be a big critter, so you actually can have that A3 be something that actually kind of, I don't know about one-shotting, but actually get some damage onto him running. All in all, that's kind of everything that I could come up with talking about this champion, Ishiyama The Immovable. He's going to be coming pretty soon, so we are able to check him out a little bit more in depth and how we actually can get him. All in all, that's pretty much all there is going to be for the video, guys. So before you go ahead and check out Aptoide if you haven't done so yet. Now, Aptoide basically is going to be allowing you to get more value for your money when you make purchases through Raid Shadow Legends, when you actually play the game, when you download it through Aptoide, right? So all you need to do is just download the game through Aptoide, and then as you buy things, you're going to be getting a bonus when you do those purchases, right? This bonus can go from extra 10% all the way up to extra 35%, excuse me, of any amount of money you are spending, right? So picture this, you're going to be buying a pack that's maybe a little bit more expensive, right? Whatever you want to be buying in the game, you're going to be getting a percentage of that as a bonus, right? So picture that, I don't know which kind of percentage I currently have of a bonus. As a bonus is like something like 10, 20, actually like 12, 13%, right? So here we go, I'm getting 7 euros out of purchasing this pack. Totally for free, right? I'm not losing anything, that's just something that I'm getting on top of the purchase that I'm doing, right? So the real deal about this is that when you do have enough of the bonus, you're going to be able to use it instead of your actual money to do the purchase for you. That way I can just afford more things for the same amount of money that I already spent, right? If you're going to be buying things in Raid Shadow Legends, you might as well do it anyways through Aptoide, right? So basically you're going to have a guide down there in the description talking about how to set the whole thing up on your Android devices, like your Android phones, or emulators on your PC, like BlueStacks, for example. Really easy to set up. And if you, on top of that, want to be using it, there's going to be a code down there in the description as well as here in the screen, which is going to be increasing the bonus that I talked about by a flat 5% from the get-go, so you can start earning a bigger bonus easily and more quick, right? So pretty much that's it for the video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about it down below in the comment section, and I'll see you on the next one. Like, subscribe, and that's it. Bye-bye. See you.